Alright, what's up, guys? My name is Jackson Terabelsi. Right now I'm Celestial 2, end of the season, Celestial 2, peak Celestial 1 last season. Usually a tank player, but this guy looks so darn fun. I've always been a Fantastic Four fan because when I was a kid, we had a Leapfrog, which was like the pre-DS, and we had a Fantastic Four game. I thought they were cool. But yeah, let's just hop right into this guy. Let's show you everything you need to know about him. So my thoughts on the character. He's pretty cool. He does remind me of like Scarlet Witch and Storm, where they're kind of, it's like 80% of their gameplay is positioning. If you're out of position, people will see you and you'll just die. But he also reminds me of Penny Parker because he's one of those people where it's like, you know, you see this and you kind of just have to respect it. Like, it's just, you can't do anything about this. He has crazy area denial. So first up, you have his left click, which is like a shotgun spray almost. It is not hit scan. It does take time to travel, which is something to be noted, especially when you're in all those quick plays 1v1ing other human torches. You gotta make sure you're actually hitting your shots. So as you can see, he doesn't have ammo. Instead, he's like, you don't have to reload. He has these weird like recharging things, which it take a third of a second to recharge, and it takes 0.6 seconds to fire. So as you can see, they keep recharging while I'm shooting. So it feels like you have way more than just 6 bullets, which is kind of cool. So it shoots about like 10 to 12 projectiles, I think. I just tried counting how many. And it does about 7 damage per. So if you hit a full thing on somebody, let's go over here to Moon Knight.
Ooh, you got burned.
You get about 3 shot of Moon Knight if you're hitting all body shots. He's at 250 health. So doing the math there, what, it's about a little like 80 per probably. Yeah, that one's kind of
Already? Come on.
It doesn't really do that much damage for a shotgun, especially compared to like a Punisher shotgun.
You hurt people.
I mean, that just one bang somebody. The damage drop off starts up at 15 meters. So it'll do 7 per, but once you get farther away, it'll start doing a lot less. It drops off pretty quickly. But also, you're also going to miss a lot more shots because you're farther away. They can crit. I'm sure you've noticed that, which is pretty sweet. So if you are playing against a Jeff or something, you can just destroy his face, which is what everyone wants to do. The next one is the right click. Throw it down, it makes like a pool of fire. It does tick damage. So it has 2 instances of damage. The initial hit does damage, and then it does tick damage. So the initial hit does 40 damage. And then a 3-meter radius for the next 6 seconds, which is quite a long time. Does 25 damage per second. So let's do some quick math there. 25 times 6 is 150, as we all know, plus 40. So if they're in it for the whole duration and they get hit by it, that's going to do 190. Which is pretty sweet.
Hot diggity dog.
And then the next ability I'll go over would be the E, because it goes in along with the right click. So you throw down a couple of right clicks, and you press E, and it makes it connects them. As long as you have line of sight, and anybody inside the shape will take tick damage. It'll be 50 seconds. It'll be 50 damage per second for 5 seconds, which is a lot. And then also when they cross the wall, I'm pretty sure that also does immediate damage. Oh, I messed that up. Which makes the shape.
Don't step on lava.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. So when they cross it, okay, for the first time they cross, it doesn't matter if they go in and out as many times. It does 65 damage immediately. And then while they're in, it does 50 damage per second. It's on a 15-second cooldown, so it is really long. But I mean, just the sheer area denial you can get out of that.
Dodge this.
Like, that's just crazy.
You're ahead of us.
God, I love hearing that sound.
Ooh, you got
Double
burned.
KO.
The next one, left shift, pretty simple. So this is his base move speed. If you hold down shift, it's not a toggle. You have to hold it. When you're holding it, it just gives you a movement speed buff. What is weird is when you use an ability, it takes you out of it. So you see I'm shooting and it slows me down. I can only use it when I'm not acting or doing anything, which is something to be noted. His last base ability is his F. As you can see, when I'm looking at something that I can hit, it'll light up. As you know, you're able to do it. You press it, and you just dash it and knock everybody away from you, which is really interesting. But what is so it does 40 damage. It doesn't say that there's any damage drop off based on the distance.
I'm clocking some bad guys.
But what is cool is if you hit your right click, it'll explode it and do damage around it, but it'll also turn it off. So ideally, if you're in like a lobby full of bots, just throw down some right clicks, let them sit in it for a little bit, and then slam, because it does the same amount of damage no matter how long that's been down. So you can try to get the most out of it by waiting like 5 seconds and then slamming it. So that way you can really get the most out of it. But usually they'll move out of it if they see the fire circle on the ground, so it's not a great. But yeah, so the F does 40 on its own, and it does 55 if it explodes. So do that and that. That's half his health right there. So if you're up here peppering people from above, hit them a little bit, throw down some right clicks, get them below half, slam, they're just gonna die. If they're not getting any healing there. So one thing I did notice. So when I play damage, I like playing Moon Knight because he does a lot of AOE damage. He does a lot of consistent damage, and he can get his ult really fast. So, but also he has a burst option. If you just like jump behind them, throw your Ankh down, and then just start spamming it, you might get a kill on a support. So when I first saw him, I'm like, oh, okay, he has everything except for the burst thing. But I mean, when you're doing stuff like this, bang, bang, bang. I mean, it's not as fast as like a Psylocke, but you know, you're not Psylocke, huh? So his ultimate ability is called Supernova. You activate it. It's like a buff. It makes all your right clicks way better. Right click is the fire field, so it gives it a fire tornado, which is super cool. You activate it, it's like instant damage. While it's active for the next, I think it's 8 seconds. It's an 8-second ult. For the whole time, you take 30% less damage, which is pretty sweet because a lot of characters don't get that. I know this season they added Scarlet Witch. She got like a little shield now. Whenever she ults, she gets like 100 bonus health, which is pretty sweet. They're starting to realize that these things can just get bursted down. I like that a lot. But so it changes his right click, which went from 25 damage a second to when you ult, it'll do 100 damage a second. So I activate it. They take damage. Throw it down. Really just takes them out. Pretty sweet. You cannot use your E while you're in it. That's something to be noted. So don't try pressing it. It's not going to do anything. But yeah, he's pretty sweet. He's got a lot of area denial, and it's one of those things. It's similar to Penny, where you kind of have to like respect it, you know.
I'm clocking some bad. I win a lot.
When it comes to team ups, he has the same one that Mr. Fantastic got last season with Sue Storm, where it gives him this shield based on his missing health, which is pretty sweet when you're a flyer. I don't know if you guys ever played Storm before, but you're kind of Storm or Iron Man, even Scarlet Witch. You just get a target on your back because people, they look up, they see you, and they just shoot you. And if you don't have a Luna on your team to just leave the snowflake on you, you might just die a lot. So it's pretty nice to have that, to just have a good amount of survivability. So that when you notice that people are looking at you, you just press C, take some damage, use your boost to get away. He doesn't have any slowing effects, but I guess you can always try to slam away or into enemy to try to push him off the map, which would be pretty funny, honestly. His other one that he has, which is new, this is the first new one they've added. I can activate my ult and it'll make hers way better. Yeah, you can see there that it increased the range. It doesn't make it last any longer, but it does do more damage. Activate it, you can see it grow, it hits all those things, it does way more damage. It's kind of like an instant team kill, because it deals enough damage to kill through support ults now, which is kind of insane. But also, it's one of those things where it's kind of the same with like the Psylocke team up with Magic and BP, is you have to have a lot of people doing the same thing. So you have to have Storm and Human Torch. So you have 2 flyers, which means Human Torch seems pretty cool. He does not seem broken. I think that's what's pretty cool about this game so far, is that last season they added Mr. Fantastic, they added Invisible Woman, and they were just like pretty good. Like, I mean, Mr. Fantastic was widely regarded as not a great character. Now he's like a pseudo tank. He can kind of fit into some comps. He's all right. His ult is still not that great, even with the buffs. I hope he's good because he's just, you know, I like him.
Some bad guys.
But like Sue Storm, I mean, she got put in as like one of like the main supports with the big ults, right? These 4 were the main guys. But she was always the like last one picked. Like, she was fine. She wasn't bad, but she was good. Human Torch doesn't seem very great. I think he'd get countered by a lot of people who just kind of like have a gun. He's just like another flyer, which I don't mind. But I do think that there was a necessity for area control, because you'll find in the higher ranks you fight against a lot of people doing double shield with Punisher and Rocket, and it's just like a clump. And the only real person who does enough AoE damage to deal with it is Moon Knight, and then also a Groot to help with the support ult kills. But now we have this guy as well who can fly above the shields, try to hit behind them. Because if you can put a right click behind them and in front of them, press E, they have to leave off that lane. They cannot stay there. They will die. It does too much damage. So I think he's a good addition. I like him. He's funny. He's got funny little voice lines too. Always dicking around with whoever. But yeah, I hope this guide helped, and I hope that you have fun playing the character.